Hi, this is Joey. He loves to learn new things. Recently, he started learning about web designing. He went through all the blogs on the internet and read every single book on it, but unable to figure out how to put everything in one place to make something useful that actually he can proud of. But like the many others, he failed and gave up. And that's the time when Mark came by. Mark is his best friend. He showed him a way of success. Mark told him about this great course in which Joey built complete website from scratch. Later, that course made Joey a skillful web designer. Joey learned everything from ground level. He started from the basics of HTML and then he learned some advancement of HTML and then he moved to HTML5 and saw some new features of HTML5 in which he implemented some security techniques on forms creation so that no one on earth can bypass the security of our form using HTML5. And then he learned how can you add audio and video from your own computer to your website using HTML5 new attributes. And then he moved to CSS section and create his own custom style for his website. After learning basics, Joey moved to project session in which Joey built first project as basic website layout, and in second project he created this attractive content transitions in which he implemented every single style that he learned in CSS section. And finally, the wait's over. Joey built this complete website from scratch, in which Joey implemented every single technique that Joey learned in this course. According to modern styling techniques, Joey's instructor Jazeb Akram made this amazing course. In this course, Jazeb added modern web designing techniques that are necessary for today's web designer. This course is complete package for students because instructor implemented every single techniques that student learned throughout this amazing course. By applying the security restriction on our website, no one can send false information and bypass our security. And the great thing about this course is this course gives Joey skills to make hundreds of websites instead of one web template. This complete course of HTML5 and CSS3 made Joey a happy student. Now, Joey is earning adequate amount every month by making online projects. So, this is the story of Joey. What's yours? Let's write your story next. Enroll in this amazing course now and let's start our journey from nothing to something that you can proud of. Hello, welcome to Professional Web Designer course. Before we start HTML, there are some core concepts about HTML and HTML5. So in this lecture, we are going to look into some basics of HTML. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's the basic of all web things. It's essential language for creating web pages. It means that without HTML, you cannot create any single web page. What does HTML file contain? It's contain document type declaration, a head, body, and elements. What are tags and elements? HTML contain opening tag and closing tag and the elements mean combination of opening tag and closing tag. It means that anything within the opening tag and closing tag, it's called an element. What is HTML5? HTML5 is actually newest version of HTML. It incorporates all features from earlier versions of HTML. It adds a diverse set of new tools for the web developer to use. It is still a work in progress. No browser has full HTML5 support. It will be many years, perhaps not until 2018 or later, before being fully defined and supported. Why use HTML5? The reasons we should use HTML5 because it supports all existing web pages. With HTML5, there is no requirement to go back and revise older websites. It reduces the needs for external plugins and scripts to show websites' content. It improves semantic definition of web elements. Make the rendering of web content universal and independent of the device being used. It means that you can use and you can see any HTML5 page no matter which device you are using. You are using tablet, PC, desktop or Mac or anything like that. It handles web documents error in a better and more consistent fashion. Okay, now what is semantic element? Header, footer, nav. Nav means navigation. Reading these elements, you can quite know what header actually means, what footer actually means in real life. So semantic elements mean anything that makes sense according to its meaning. You can tell by only reading the tags what these elements actually means. The next thing is non-semantic element. Div tag, span tag. Actually, div tag is used for dividing the web pages into some categories, and span tag is used for applying certain functionality to the certain region of a web page. Any question? You can ask at jazebakram@gmail.com without any compensation. Thanks for watching. Hello, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to set editor in which we can write HTML code and start making web pages. There are plenty of editors out there on the internet like Notepad++, Core Lobster, Komodo IDE 8 and Notepad in your own computer, and most of them are free of cost. In free editors, I recommended you Notepad++, but for doing more efficient, reliable and flexible coding, I recommend Komodo IDE 8 because I'm using it in my computer. Actually, it doesn't matter which editors you are using for writing code. What matter is how much committed you are with my course. So let's download it. Okay, the first thing that you have to do, you have to open your browser and you have to Google Komodo IDE and now visit their website. As you can see, they are giving us 21-day fully functional trial, so you can try it, but after these days you have to buy their product. So I recommend Notepad++ for you. You have to write Notepad++ for Mac or for PC as suits you, and you have to pick any of the link that Google will show you. You have to download latest version, and now my program is now downloading. The next thing that will come up after doing it is this. The next thing is you have to select your language after downloading it. Next, agree with their terms. Next, install. Now it's installing. Oh, it's fast. Finish. Congratulations, you've successfully installed Notepad++ for writing HTML code. Hello, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to see the key components for making any structure of HTML page. For this purpose, you have to open your Google and right click on the in browser, view page source. As you can see, it's the code of this particular Google page, but it's kind of rendering, so we will go for some easy example. For this purpose, in browser type example.com. Now right click on the page, view page source. As you can see, this is the all the things that we need to make this page. The first thing in this page is doc type HTML. Doc type tells the browser which type and version of document to expect. This should be the last time the doc type is ever going to be changed. From now on, all versions of HTML will use this same simplified declaration. Next thing is HTML tag. This HTML tag will tell the browser this page, this document is HTML document. The next thing is head. Inside the head there is title. As you can see, example domain, because we open this title page, example domain. The next thing is meta character set, UTF-8. This character set will tell the browser which type of character set we are using. Next thing is meta HTTP. This will tell the browser which type and content we are expecting in our page. Next thing is viewport. This viewport is especially used for mobile devices when we have to zoom in or zoom out for the user. Next thing is style. All this is CSS. As you can see, we will have chapter on CSS and we will go on it later on. Then the closing of head. Next thing is body. All the HTML thing will be right in this section, this body section. After body section, you can see closing of HTML tag. Now I'm going to select it by applying command Ctrl A, then copy it by Ctrl C, and then paste it in my Notepad++ by applying command Ctrl V. The reason I did this because I want to show you how can it will be look like if I save this code in my notepad and then run it through my own browser by my computer. Now save it by applying command Ctrl S or go to file and then save. Now give the path and rename it structure.html. The reason I use .html because it's hypertext markup language file, and with hypertext markup language file we have to mention its extension, and its extension is .html. Now save it. Now I going to my computer and we see how it will be look like from my computer. Open the directory where you save that file, HTML. I'm going to open it in my Firefox browser. Oh, congratulations, you successfully open your first project. Although it's kind of copy paste, but for knowing structure it's better. See you next lecture. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Right. Now we are moving to headings and some paragraph. For heading, HTML have H1 to H6 tag for headings. H1 is for first big heading and then H2 for second big heading but smaller than first heading, and so on. let's write it in our notepad h1 heading first. Now adding some content. This is first heading. Now closing this tag by slash h1. Let's see what it will look like in our browser. Run it in my Firefox. Oh, I didn't save it. Remember, when you add something in Notepad++, you have to save it, and then you have to run it in your browser. Save it. Now run it. Okay, great. Now we are going to add some more headings. H2 heading. Remember, this heading will be smaller than H1 heading. H2 heading. This is second heading. Okay, save it. Now run it in browser. Okay, as you can see, second heading is smaller than the first heading. Now I'm going to write all of the headings of HTML so that you can see what's the difference between the headings. HTML have 1 to 6 heading. H3 heading. This is third heading. Closing this tag. H3 slash. I'm just going to copy and paste it in my notepad. Paste it, and paste it. Now change it 4 H4 heading, H4 H6 fifth heading. Let's see it in our browser. First save it. Now run it in Firefox. As you can see, the first heading is more bigger than the second one is bigger than third one is bigger than fourth, and so on. We can also increase or decrease the size of each heading by CSS. We will do it in our CSS chapter. Now we are going to add some content after these headings, some paragraph. For paragraph, HTML has p tag, and we have to write p and then some content about the heading. Closing of p tag /p. This is okay. Wait, I think it will be better if I add something from the internet so that you can see easily. Now save it and see what it will look like in browser. I just done this because I want some paragraph and any content for p tag. As you can see, this whole line doesn't look very good because we want to cut this line. For cutting this line, we have another tag, line break tag, and if you want to cut this line from anywhere, you just have to add br tag, line break tag, anywhere you want. Br tag here, then I want to cut it after university, br tag, then I want to cut it from Google search engine, after Google search engine, br tag, and so on. If you want some more, let's see in browser. Okay, as you can see, we cut that line, went to, then university, and then after search engine. Now it's look quite good than before. Now, what if you want to add some horizontal line after every single paragraph? We have HR tag for adding some horizontal line. First, I'm going to copy this all the content of p tag, and then I'm going to paste it in after every heading. We don't need this, really don't need this. So I think for understanding this is enough for you. Now I'm going to add HR tag for horizontal line after paragraph or first heading, HR tag, and then HR tag here. Save it and then run it in Firefox. Oh great, as you can see, this look quite good, more than the before. Now as you can see, we divide this whole page into two categories, heading 1, heading 2, and then we have content. Then with the help of BR tag, line break tag, we cut this line, then this line, and this, then that one. And after that we put horizontal line and heading 2 and so on. Hello, in this lecture we are going to format some text. For formatting, I'm going to write p tag, then closing of p tag, and then now I'm going to format some text. For strong or for bold, if you want to bold some text, then we have to use strong tag, then closing of strong tag. It's good programming practice if you open some tag and after that you close that tag, so that you don't forget to close it. Now add something, Google. After that I'm going to write some italic text. For italic we have em tag or I tag. You can use I tag also. Em tag, I like Google, closing of em tag. If you want to underline some text, then you can use tag U for underlining some text. U, closing of U, underline tag. I like Gmail. Now if you want to strike on some text, then you can also do this by formatting. For that purpose we have strike tag. Strike, closing of strike. I don't like G plus. Let's see in browser, save it, run it in Firefox. As you can see, we bold the Google by using strong tag, then we italic I like Google by em tag or I tag, then I underline this tag I like Gmail by U tag, and then I don't like G plus by strike tag. In this lecture, we are going to learn about unordered list. For unordered list, we have unordered list UL tag and the list item tag LI tag. Now, first we have to write UL for unordered list and closing of unordered list /UL. Now I'm going to put some items LI, closing of list item LI. We can also write some heading if we want. H2, closing of H2. My accounts. Just going to copy it and paste it over and over. Gmail, Yahoo, MSN, Microsoft. I'll save it and run it in browser. As you can see, the heading list of my accounts, then unordered list Gmail, Yahoo, MSN, Microsoft. Now, for ordered list, we have OL tag, and for list items, we have same tag, LI tag. Now I'm going to write order list, but first the heading H2, closing of H2. Courses that I'm going to learn. Now the list items, order list, OL, closing of OL, list items, LI, Control C, paste it over and over. HTML, then we going to learn HTML5, then CSS, then CSS3. Save it, run it in browser. Okay, as you can see, this is order list 1, 2, 3 and 4. HTML, HTML5, CSS and CSS3. Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to discuss anchor tag. What is anchor tag? By anchor tag, we can create a hyperlink of any our computer file or any other website. All we have to do, we have to write anchor tag A and then keyword href, then equal sign, then double quotation mark. And inside this double quotation, we need some website address that we want to apply on some text. Let's suppose on this Google text. Let's find some address, copy this address, and now paste it inside this quotation mark. Then closing of this opening a tag, and after Google, because we want to create a hyperlink on this Google /a, closing of this tag. Then save it. Let's see what it will look like in our browser. As you can see, the color of this Google is changed due to hyperlink. After clicking on this, it will move us to this what is Google page. Let's click on it. It's spinning. Oh, great. We successfully create a hyperlink of this techtarget.com website. The next thing that I told you, we can also create a hyperlink of our computer file. Let's create a hyperlink on this Stanford University text. We have to first write a, then keyword href, then equal sign, then double quotation mark, and then closing of this a. But now in this double quotation mark, we have to place a directory of that specified file that we want to open after clicking on Stanford University. Let's first see the path of that file that we want to open. HTML folder, this file folder, and this structure. I want to open this structure.html file that inside this file folder, giving its path file/structure.html, and then after Stanford University, closing of this a tag, anchor tag. So let's save it and run it in browser. As you can see, Stanford University is now underlined and its color is changed to blue color. Let's click on it. As you can see, we successfully open our file structure.html file that is inside this file folder. Okay, now let's create one more hyperlink for practice. Now I'm going to create a hyperlink on this project a, then href, equal sign, double quotation mark, and then address of some file. Let's open index file. No, not index file. Let's open some website. Okay, this google.ca website. Control V, and now after closing, let's save it. Let's see in browser. Oh, the reason it creates a hyperlink on every single text because I think we didn't close the opening tag. Let's see. Yeah, we didn't close this opening a tag. We have to close this tag first. Now save it and see in browser. Now as you can see, project color is now changed and it's underlined. By clicking, it gave us google.ca see a page. What if you are at the end of the page and you want to move up at the starting of the page? There are two things for doing that. One is you can scroll this up, or number two is we can do some good work by coding in our page by creating ID link. Let's create some ID link. At the end of this page, I'm going to write some ID link A, then keyword href, then double quotation mark, and inside this double quotation mark we have to write hash top. Top is our ID. Let's close it and write some text. Let's see, go to top. Now closing of this tag. Let's save it. And now at the starting of the page I have to mention the ID. Let's mention this top ID here. All I have to do, I have to ID equal sign double quotation mark and top. Remember, this ID have to be similar with the ID that I gave before. Otherwise it won't work. Let's save it. See in browser. Great. We created go to top hyperlink. By clicking on it, we can move our screen to the right place where we want. Let's click on it. Go to top. We are now at the starting of this page. This is the first heading. Let's see it again. Click on it, and now this is the first heading. In all this text we only have one space. By default, when we strike space in writing text, it only consider editor or HTML will only consider one space. But what if you want to add some more space? For that purpose we have a keyword, HTML5 hack keyword, and NBSP colon. Let's add that keyword after this page collaborated text. Write and NBSP and then colon. Save it. Let's see in browser. Where is collaborated? Okay, here is collaborated. After refreshing the page, we have two spaces. But what if you want some more spaces? We have to write and NBSP as many times as we want many spaces. Let's paste it over and over and we will see. I almost added 10 times NBSP in my text after page collaborated. Let's save it and see in browser. Okay, great. After refreshing the page, now we have after page collaborated 10 spaces and then some text on our research. Right. Through HTML, we can also add images to our page using img tag. All we have to do, we have to write img and then src for source, the place from where you want to add an image to your page, quotation, and inside this quotation I have to mention the address of that particular image that I want to insert here. As you can see, I open index.html file from the folder HTML Here is this index.html, and with this file we also have images folder, and inside it we have question.png. remember, whenever you want to add your image to your page, you must have to specify its extension or its type: png file, jpg file, or gif file. So this file have the extension of questions.png. let's add it. That was in images folder, and then image questions.png. you can also define its width if you want. 500 equal sign 300 and alt equal quotation question about HTML. Okay, whenever someone will search for question about HTML on Google, Google will direct him to your image because you have mentioned alt questions about HTML. So alt is kind of name, giving name to some image. Now closing of that image, tag slash and anchor. You can also use the previous method that I told you and showed you using slash img, but let's do something new. Let's try this one, slash and anchor. Let's save it and run it in browser. Okay, great. As you can see, we successfully inserted our image to our page. We can remove the width and height and see what it will look like with the original size. Oh, it's quite a big image. We can also remove the alt. All the necessary thing for one image is its source, its location from where you want to insert an image. Okay, this image we collected it from our computer and showed it in browser. But what if you want to insert some image that is not in your computer but it's some on website? It's the same thing. All you have to change, this image source address. Let's find some image. Okay, great. I like this bunny image, so let's paste it in our page. Let's copy this image. For copying this image, you have to copy this image location, means its address, copy image location, and now you have to paste it in source. Let's save this and see it in browser. Okay, here is our bunny image. It's kind of beautiful. And here is our questions.png image that we inserted from our computer, and this one from the internet. We can also do many things with images, like we can add some border, increase or decrease their heights or width by CSS, but we will do it in our next chapter of CSS. As you know, forms are the basic interaction between user and website. So in this session, we are going to make some forms in which we will have some radio buttons, checkboxes, text fields, lists, text area, difference between method get versus post, HTML5 new attributes, HTML5 new inputs, what action attribute does in our HTML form, difference between placeholder and value, pattern attribute. We will add some pattern and some restriction in our form so that no one on earth can bypass security of our form. Actually, this session will going to be exciting because we will see some professional techniques in this session. So want to become pro? Sit tight here. In this video, we are going to create some form. As you know, form is the basic interaction between user and the company through website. So form will be good for our website. Let's create it. Now I'm going to move to my Komodo IDE 8 because we do enough on Notepad++. So now it's time we should have some intro on Komodo IDE 8. After installing it, it's kind of heavy, so you have to wait. Okay, here is my start page of Komodo IDE 8.5. Let's create some new project. You can also create new project by going to your file or something, but I can see here new project, so let's create it through this path. Now you have to give the path for creating your web project. It's desktop and I want to create in same folder HTML. Open that folder. Now rename this project Pro Web Design Course. Save it. Okay. Now as you can see, we successfully browsed all the files that in HTML folder. Let's create some new file. For creating new file, we have to click on file, then new, and then new file. And I'm going to paste the doc type, HTML head, and etc. Now I'm going to save it by Ctrl S and then rename it index.html. Save it. Okay, so here is our file in which we are going to create our form. For creating form, first we need form element, and for form element we need starting and ending, form, then closing of form. And now in form we need some input, some username or some password and their type. Input, and now after input, inside input we need its type equal, because in this type section we need to clarify what will be the type of our username or password. As you know, the username in alphabetically or some numbers, and its type is text. So in this type section we need to write text. Let's create some more inputs. Let's copy it and paste it over and over. Okay, in this type, this one is for username and this one is for password. So this type we are going to mention password because it's type password. Okay, the next thing is this input is going to be placed as a submit button, so its type will be submit. Okay, inside this form we need some other things like action equal double quotation. Let's leave it right now for empty because inside this quotation we need an address of our server on which our form going to be submitted. After this section we need method for our form. There are two types of method, get and post. We will see their difference in upcoming lectures. Method equal double quotation get method. Let's make it greater get method. And now in this section, input type section, we need some name for this. As I said earlier, this is the input for username, so we have to mention username, and we also have to give this one name too. Name, it's password, and this submit button we need some value to fill for submit button, equal sign, and then submit this form. Let's save it. And for running a file in Komodo, you can see this preview buffer in browser. Let's browse it in our Firefox. We can also browse in this Komodo tab, and that is right here. But let's browse it first in our browser. Preview. Okay, as you can see, it is same in the Komodo tab and in this browser. So next time we are going to browse it in our Komodo tab. So let's add some username here like Tom and its password. Okay, as you can see, this password is hidden because in our editor we choose type password. That's why it's kind of confidential for user to see. Submit this form. Okay, no. Now we choose the method of get. That's why in this bar the username Tom and password 111 is showing. If we choose other method post, then this will not going to be showed in this bar. That's why post is better for preventing our information from lost or from any type of scam or anything like that. Let's leave it right here. We have a whole one lecture on that. So let's remove this, submit the form, save it, and see in Komodo tab. Remember this selection for this file, preview. As you can see, now in this submit button we don't have any text. Save it. After saving it, now we have some text. Submit this form. Now the next thing in this form, that we are going to mention some field set so that our form look like beautiful for user to see. Let's add some field set, closing of field set, copy, cut it, and then paste it after form. Let's say now we have some kind of border against our form. Let's create some legend inside and give this form some name, legend, closing of that legend, and inside this legend we are going to give this name HTML5 form. Let's save it. This is kind of attractive for the user to see this legend. We can also increase its size, but we are not going to do here. Okay, now the next thing is we can also mention label for our form. Let's create some label for this form, and inside this label we have some information about this label. Okay, for this for attribute we should have some ID that will be placed inside this input element that will tell us what is this label for. Let's create some ID too for username, and inside this label we need some information that we want to place before this box, like username, and before this box we need some what? Password, right? Username colon, let's save it. It's kind of looking good. Let's copy this label also. No, we don't need to copy, let's create it. Label, closing of label. Inside this label we need for equal, this is password type, password, closing, and then we need some text here, password, and then we have to give some ID, password. Let's see it in our browser. Now this form is kind of attractive. We can also place some information in these boxes, some placeholders, so it will look like good for user. Let's add some placeholder equal sign, enter your user name. After saving it, as you can see it's kind of blurry one, and it's look good for our form. Let's create one more placeholder here, placeholder equal double quotation, and then enter password. Let's save it by pressing key Ctrl S, and after saving it this placeholder will be in our form. This placeholder, enter password. Let's save it. Okay, now there is one more thing. What if you want to clear this form? We also have one clear input and then we need to define its type. Its type is reset, because we want to reset through this button. And then we need some value, some information, some text that we want to show to user, like this: submit this form, clear the form then closing of input. We can also close input like some this tag too, but in HTML we don't need this one. Okay, so let's remove it. We don't need it. Okay, let's run this in browser. After saving it, Control S. Let's see. Okay, here is our form, and we are going to add some information. Billy, and then Billy's password is 123456789. Not good password, Billy. And then we can submit this form. Okay, the next thing is, for checking clear this form, reset button, add some value, password, and I'm not going to submit this time. I want to clear this form. Oh, now it's clear. So clearing the form is some kind of new feature in our HTML5. Continuing form. I know you are kind of confused about what is placeholder and what is value. So let's check it off this confusion. For that purpose, I'm gonna copy this label, this field, whole field, username field, and then paste it right after it, and leave this first one placeholder right as it is, and then this next one with value. Okay, let's change its name so that you can see it properly. Let's save it and now run it in browser. Okay, good. As you can see, this username have placeholder, and after clicking on it we don't have to erase this enter your username, but in this name field we have enter your username as a value, not placeholder. So after clicking on it we must have to remove this enter your username for typing anything. Got it? Let's add something. Hump, and then we must have to remove this moon, password is 123456. We can submit this form and clear this form. Let's first clear this form, and after clearing this form we still have enter your username in name field, just because we set the value, and that one we set the placeholder.